Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu's pledge to Nigerians, I will not disappoint you. Nigeria's debt hits 50 trillion naira. Parties realign ahead Saturday's governorship polls. Man 26 riding bicycle from Katsina to congratulate Tinubu in Lagos. Masha becomes US-based G24 director. Rainstorm destroys 105 houses in Ekiti community. PDP leaders to picket INEC office over poll results. And obey Supreme Court judgment on Naira now, legal giant tells Buhari. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I have the major headline. So the president-elect, Bala Tinubu, yesterday returned to Lagos, and it's been reported by the nation as returning in a blaze of glory, and that he described his certificate of return as a World Cup he has brought home. He went over to, described as, he stormed the palace of the Eleko of Lagos, Obariwan Akiolu.
Eleko
of Lagos as Obariwan Akiolu, thanked the monarch and other community leaders for their support and prayers. He said that the Oba hugged him and wished him an eventful tenure. And we also have that in Abuja, we have Alhaji Tanko Yakasai, who is an elder statesman, is urging the PDP and also the LP to work in conjunction and support the president-elect. So the Oba says to the president-elect that he has done his best to serve Lagos, and he has served excellently, and so many other encomiums. Yes, and also he was received by the APC faithfuls at the airport when he came in.
Okay, I have a bit of reflective news. The Debt Management Office has released our debts, and we are close to 50 trillion in debt, according to the DMO, about 48-point-something trillion. Let's say 49 trillion. And according to them, our external debt has gone up as well to 18.2 trillion naira, mainly due to the depreciation of our naira against dollar. And in the last quarter, or the first 2 months of 2023, the government has also raised about 2.1 trillion, in debts to carry out certain infrastructure or expenditures in the country. And we are looking at continuous increase and servicing of the debt. But we're doing well when it comes to servicing according to them. But where we are now is about 50 trillion. I hope that this is reflective and we are not continuously sabotaging all the efforts of government, because what they're borrowing this money to do, we can see some, and we have internal issues against them where people are attacking infrastructure and bombing and, destroying railways and all of that.
So a rainstorm destroyed properties worth millions of naira in Okeako, Ikole local government area of Ekiti State. They said the downpour was accompanied by heavy wild wind, and that occurred Friday evening. The rainstorm destroyed over 105 residential buildings, including shops, as well as electric poles. Some of the victims said the rain lasted for over 2 hours. It started normally, then started blowing off rooftops, destroying electric pole, and then subjecting the community to total blackout. According to one of the victims, Elder Elijah, he lamented that the rainstorm destroyed his property, and he was appealing to the state government for assistance. Said it was a way when he was called that the rain had taken out his rooftop and then rendered his family homeless. So the government went ahead to inspect the level of damage yesterday. Governor Biodun Oyebanji, and he condoled with the residents, promising that they are going to assist them as much as possible, and also encouraged the landlords to make sure that they start planting trees. They are also going to set up something that will aid a lot of them to plant trees, because when we have some of these trees, it mitigates the effect of flooding.
So I have the story of the man riding a bicycle. Do you have it?
No, I don't. I think I didn't find it.
Okay,
did you find it?
26-year-old Gaddafi Musa is a Katsina indigene and is, according to him, decided to ride his bicycle. He started on Wednesday. He has arrived in Lorin yesterday, down 1,227 kilometers of road to Lagos in honor of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who won the election. He said that he started on Wednesday when he showed that most states he was winning most states, and he decided to do this to honor him. You know, I just hope that it doesn't end up like the one who trekked on Buhari's behalf. But, you know, I don't know what this is for, what implication it has anyway.
Okay.
Nigeria,
All right, moving on.
I don't appreciate things like this.
To the punch. Presidential poll, PDP governors leaders to protest at INEC today. Soldiers shoot 15-year-old boy keke operator dead in Lagos. Prepare for severe flood in Nema warns Nigerians. Tinubu visits Obakiolu, promises not to disappoint Nigerians. Whitney, Lagos alleges lapses, says Christian remains short. Akpabio Kalu, others begin battle for Senate presidency. Fuel forex subsidies removal will save Nigerian 10 trillion naira, says a report. And observers demand Rex prosecution for alleged sabotage. So ahead of the, let me take the story on Akpabio and others. So ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June, some elected senators-elect have begun lobbying for some of the highest positions. Aside from the Senate presidency, other positions like the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Deputy Senate President, as well as other principal offices. So they're going to have like the majority and minority caucuses. They're going to be looking for leaders of that. And so now there's a lot of lobbying going on because, as you know, we have about 59 senators, seats from the APC. We have 29 from the PDP. We have about 6 from the LP and 2 across other parties. And the same goes for the House of Representatives. APC has about 162. PDP has 105. LP has 34 seats. NNPP has 18. So it's a very, very, diverse. As I said, very diverse and colorful House of Representatives. So there's a lot of lobbying going on for principal positions, and we'll see how that goes. But it's good to see how democracy again is playing out.
I have a follow-up on Whitney Adediro. The Lagos State government had insisted and reiterated that the school remains short for proper measures to be taken. That, you know, number one is it is short so that, you know, proper investigations can go on and unhindered, and that they also want to, you know, include parents, staff, and students of the school, giving them time to grieve. According to the State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, and she also mentioned that the Office of Education Quality Assurance in the state will be meeting with the management of the school to ascertain adherence of child safeguarding policies. This is to ensure that all other students within the school are provided the safety that they require going forward. So the school remains short. And,
will they also be checking the field? The stadium where it happened.
Where it happened. The attitude of the school, you know, somebody had called me, a former principal and former staff of the Ministry of Education in Lagos called me yesterday, Oyenike, I'm trying to remember her surname, and she complained about the facility where the inter-house sport happened, that, you know, I said, but because of the attitude of the school in denying initially, nobody has put torchlight on that facility. Wow. So she said that what they must have to provide a stadium for events like that is they must have she called it a particular thing about men who monitor the place on and on, even during the inter-house sports as well.
That's
okay, we're still reviewing Punch. Yeah. Is there any story?
Yes, I have a story. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, not NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, has issued a warning of upcoming severe flooding this year, as indicated by predictions from relevant agencies. So a statement was issued by the agency, and this he disclosed at a 2-day experts technical meeting on the 2023 climate-related disaster preparedness and mitigation strategies in Abuja. And he said that they have earlier revealed in predictions that the annual flood outlook by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency. And this flood disaster that happened last year is an eye-opener. However, the agency will now be spreading the warnings and messages to states very early, which they have started. I took the same story last week. Said, we've started early this year. We're ready for early warning and early action. We will bombard every citizen, state and local government with the information as we want them to know that is, know and take it very serious, and will not keep quiet because we want them to know that there will be flood this year. And they had mentioned earlier that the flood predictions is across 178 local governments in 32 states. And so people need to begin to do something about this now.
I have a story as well in the Punch. So we have the director of CPPE, which is the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise and he's disclosed that if the incoming administration should lay emphasis on moderating inflationary pressures, stabilizing exchange rates, and boosting economic growth. He said that Nigeria is going to save about 10 trillion naira annually by elimination of subsidies on PMS, that's petrol, of course, and also foreign exchange. And if CBN too was to remove the subsidy on foreign exchange, we will be able to save a lot of money. It's unlock more income from revenue-generating agencies through enhanced efficiency of these operations, initiate budget reforms to ensure fiscal discipline, curb budget padding, curb duplication of projects, and review service-wide votes to ensure transparency. So this is just advice to the incoming administration on the way forward economically for our nation.
Daily Sun. U.S. opens up on February 25th polls. Enugu Guba group threatens mayhem, sponsored by politicians, says IPOB. Ayu Okowa lead black uniform protest at INEC headquarters today. Petrol scarcity returns to Abuja. Yoruba monarchs urge Tinubu to use victory for Nigerians' unity and greatness. Atiku to INEC chair, your promise for credible Guba elections, medicine after death. NDLA nabs Indian-bound businessman with 9.40 kg heroin at Lagos airport. G20 minister calls for Nigeria, AU inclusion. IMF World Bank reforms. Naira redesign confusion as CBN keeps mute over the Supreme Court's ruling. So the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, arrested a businessman, Mr. Kingsley Celestino, at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. He was a 49-year-old young man on his way to India. He was carrying 9.40 kilograms of heroin concealed in false buttons of his traveling bags. According to them, he was traveling with a Guinean passport, international passport. He claimed he deals in clothing businesses and travels between Nigeria and India. It was further established that he obtained the Guinean international passport in Guinea-Bissau, where he said his mother came from. So, in the same vein, another 24-year-old man, I'm trying to get his name here, was also nabbed at the international airport, at the Murtala Mohammed Airport. He was carrying 1.94 kg of skunk concealed in cream tubes. He was also trying to travel. And, I mean, again, we've missed a bit of the NDLEA because recently, but it's good to...
Because of politics.
Yeah, politics has kind of...
but they've been working, obviously.
Okay.
So our residents in Abuja are facing a fresh round of biting petrol scarcity. Said many filling stations remain shut during the weekend for lack of products to sell. The few petrol stations that were open had a lot of cars queuing several meters away from the filling station. So from Kubwa Central Business District to Garaki, Lugbe, the queues were really frightening. And said the development also made it possible for the black marketers to be selling fuel for 450 naira per litre to customers. But they said one of the reasons they have this fuel scarcity right now is because of the past presidential and National Assembly elections, because there was a sort of restriction of movement, and so tankers were not able to deliver. But NNPC is assuring Nigerians, especially people who are living in Abuja right now, that they have fuel for them. They said they have 47-day petrol sufficiency. Said 2.1 billion litres of PMS in stock is already there, 0.9 billion litres in all the land depots that will give us enough for this season. So very soon the queues will reduce when they have products.
Very quickly, moving on to Vanguard. Supreme Court ruling uncertainty as banks wait on CBN. Battle for States Presidential National Assembly polls results raise stakes for governorship and assembly elections. Over 36 killed as herders attack Benue communities. Beaver, Saturday's governorship poll might be postponed. Presidential polls failed to meet Nigeria's expectations, says U.S. envoy. Tinubu to world leaders. To those extending arm of friendship, I offer mine in return. Yakubu's promise of credible Guba polls, medicine after death, says Atiku. Certificate of return like World Cup trophy to me, says Tinubu. Polls dispute Oshoba warns against triggering tribal and religious crisis. Okay, which story?
Headline. So yes, on Friday, the Supreme Court ruled that, the old Naira notes and the new Naira notes must go side by side till the 31st of December this year. And so Vanguard Digest went around town to some banks, and the banks are saying they're waiting for a CBN circular because they are not answerable to the Supreme Court. They say they are answerable to the CBN. And so they are waiting for a CBN circular to instruct them on what to go. Some banks are saying we don't even have old or new notes. Some are saying, although they are all anonymously speaking in this report, some are saying we have the new notes, but we are not answerable to anybody else but the CBN. Until circular comes out, nothing will happen. And financial analysts are insisting obey the Supreme Court. They're also calling on the president to instruct the CBN to obey the Supreme Court order.
I was hoping we would hear from federal government today.
In fact, that Friday evening, I kept saying to my neighbors, don't worry, this evening,
hear from
because I believe that governments respect us. I said, this evening, President Muhammad Buhari will just address us. No, just wait.
Can you write him a letter?
In fact, I should. Why can't I?
All right, so the president-elect, Bola Tinubu, said yesterday he was ready to work with world leaders who extend an arm of friendship for him. He was actually saying that he was overwhelmed by the number of congratulatory messages he's received pouring in from world leaders. He mentioned United States, France, UK, and many other countries. And he says that they have demonstrated the important role Nigeria plays in the world. He also described it as an encouraging sign that the rest of the world was interested in the partnership with Nigeria. And he was pretty elated. He said, I deeply appreciate the congratulatory messages from all over the world. The message of goodwill and solidarity have been so overwhelming to me to mention Ibom by name. So I guess that's the story. Any other story in Vanguard? Let's move on quickly. The Point. Who has a story in Point? Okay. Bankers fear fresh bashing amid CBN silence. Election controversy. No one has ever become Nigerian president through court judgment, says lawyers. Fears of voter apathy heighten ahead of governorship assembly polls. Uncovered real reasons married cop killed concubine and self-inquirer. Nigeria's cement industry battles rising operational costs because declining margins. Which one do you have, Mariam?
Yes, I have this also a follow-up on the story I've taken about the cop that shot a lady who was supposed to have been his lover, they said. So it's an update on why he did it. They said that Michael Olalere was a married man with 2 daughters, but he was in a relationship with Oluwatosin Cecilia Bamidele, who has a daughter, and they had a relationship which friends have said was a violent one. He used to beat her and accuse her of infidelity over and over again, and they had evidence of bruises and bandages all over her over a period of time. They said on this particular day, he had accused her of seeing someone else, and, that they thought that it looked like she was running away from him. She had quickly run to her daughter's school. That's where the gruesome murder-suicide happened. They said she went to pick up her daughter. He had been looking all around for her, saw her. He had a cutlass with him, actually, they said at first. When he saw her, he shot her 3 times in the chest, and then he puts the gun to his throat and kills himself. And to think that this is a married man, first of all, you are committing adultery on top of everything, and then
You're not feeling heartbroken.
The person wants to leave you, you still chase the person down with guns.
You're not feeling heartbroken.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune, our last paper this morning, PDP to protest as INEC direct members to dress in black. Many homeless as rainstorm blows roof off building in Ekiti. Bandits kill DPO sergeant, vigilante abduct women in Zamfara. Labour Party in Oyo adopts Makinde. Atiku to Yakubu, your promise for credible governorship polls is medicine after death. Tinubu promises not to disappoint Nigerians. February 25 presidential election failed to meet Nigerians' expectations, says U.S. ambassador. Okay, so I have the story. The Labour Party in Oyo State has declared the support for the incumbent, Governor Seyi Makinde, for Saturday's coming elections. The party chairman, Mr. Tunji Sadiq, said that the party has resolved to use its entire structure to support Governor Makinde because his ideology aligns with theirs, and they will give him the support across the 33 local governments in Oyo State. Yeah, so that's a story. Any other story in Tribune?
Yeah, so bandits Sunday morning attacked Maru police station in Maru, headquarters of Maru local government area of Zamfara State. They killed a DPO, an inspector, a vigilante, and also abducted some women in the process. So the DPO Kazim Rahim, the police inspector Rabiu Umar, and vigilante member were confronting the hoodlums when they, in a gun duel, when they walked into the police station, and then they got injured and died in the process. It's just a very painful story. The story has been confirmed, and investigations have been launched to go and chase out those bandits who carried out this attack. It was very funny that the DPO and the inspector did not want to run away. They were really trying to defend their station when they lost their lives. It's just painful.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.